Hi, I'm Vidushri Hengad, and I'm peer advisor at the CDO right now. And can you please introduce yourself, your year that you graduated now that you're an alum, um,
Mhm.
and where you are right now and what you're pursuing right now?
Yeah, I'm Preet Khowaja. I was part of the Pomona class of 2020, the year that graduated in the pandemic, for the first time. And since then, I took a year off right after Pomona, and then I started my master's in data science at Duke University, which is in Durham, North Carolina. And I'm currently in my second year of my master's. So I graduate very soon, 6 months, fingers crossed.
And what was your major at Pomona, and what are you pursuing right now?
Um, I was a math major at Pomona. I took a lot of politics classes. I started out as an IR major, but eventually I figured that math is something that I want to pursue. And I was on the general math track, and then I applied for a data science program at Duke, which is a bit of computer science, a bit of statistics. Yeah.
Okay. Fun fact, Pomona might get a data science major now. There's like rumors
Oh,
going about. Yeah, but we can talk about
okay.
it later. And like I know that you're an international student. So how was that career-wise for you? Or like grad school-wise for you? Like, do you have any tips or tricks that you'd suggest for international students?
I think it's challenging being an international student, and it's a struggle that's often like underrated, because people think this people have this, stereotype in mind of like the international student, that they probably come from wealthy backgrounds, and there are preconceived notions that you have to battle. In terms of professional career stuff, it's difficult because the competition is a little bit more fierce in terms of getting that job that you want. Employers will tend to favor domestic students just because it's less paperwork for them and stuff like that. So going into it, I would say that the biggest advantage you can give yourself is start out early. The earlier you start, the less competition you face in terms of looking for internships, in terms of like looking for jobs, and things like that. Even like networking, start out as early as possible. And I know like this is something everyone's going to say. And after some point, it's going to start sounding like very cliched, but it really does make a difference if you apply in October as compared to you applying in March, just because there are fewer people applying in October and you have a higher chance of being noticed. Another thing I think that is very helpful is connecting with people who are international and in the job market. So, like doing the jobs that you are interested in doing or working at the places that you want to be at. And you stalk them on LinkedIn and find out if they're international, and or you can just connect with them and ask them like, hey, like, are you an international student? If so, like, what was your journey like? Because that's going to give you some really great insight about the hiring process for that particular company or that particular job when it comes to being international. So that's, I think, a couple of things I would say.
Okay, amazing. My next question would be like, how has liberal arts equipped you, like in your career path right now?
So I'm currently in an interdisciplinary data science program, which means that it's not just focused on business, or it's not just focused on one particular application of data science. It goes across the board, which includes public policy, it includes healthcare, it includes consulting, it includes technology. So to be able to think about all of those things from a critical perspective, it really helps to have a liberal arts degree. It really helps that you've studied a bit about everything in your undergrad and you bring this like holistic perspective to your graduate school experience, and then you can think better about the things that you're being exposed to. I think that the biggest advantage I have when it comes to having liberal arts as a background in my undergrad is that I can think about things from varying perspectives as compared to people who come with a very focused or like niche kind of academic background.
Okay,
Yeah.
amazing. And I wanted to tap a little more into before you became a math major, you mentioned you like started with IR, and as you said, you should stalk people on LinkedIn, as I did you. How did you get the human rights internship? Like, how did you find the job? How did you apply? How did that look like for an international student in particular?
I think for undergrad, it's one thing that people don't really talk about is that the way you get your internships is often very informal. Like it's not the same as if you're a graduate student or if you're applying for university. Like there's a formal application process. For jobs, it's a little bit different because companies are looking for different things at different points in time, and like sometimes their application won't reach you because they're going about their work. They have to take time out of their day to like look at applications. Not everyone's going to do that. So it's important to know that you have to go the unconventional route sometimes. Like, okay, you submitted the online application on their website, but you need to reach out to someone who's working there or try to get in touch with the person who's hiring for that particular role that you're interested in. And that's really going to be your ticket to that company. So when it came to Human Rights Watch, I connected with a CMC alum who had worked at Human Rights Watch just by doing a LinkedIn search, like looking, there's a filter you can go at in LinkedIn where you can, check off like the Claremont colleges and just put in the name of the company and it'll show you all the people who worked there. So I connected with this person and she said like, hey, I interned at Human Rights Watch and I can connect you to the person I worked for. And then from there I got an interview with that person. Like I just shot her an email saying, hey, this is my resume. I'm really interested in the work that you do. Let me know if there's an opening for an internship. And it wasn't posted online on their website or anything. This is just how I got in, like by
Oh,
talking to people.
yeah.
So that's how I landed that internship. And I think that that is the most effective way. Just tap into people who have connections at various firms.
Okay, amazing. And do you have any like if you could give one tip for networking? I know you like
Mhm.
reached lead, like you touched upon it, you just like briefly did that, but if you have any tips for networking, like one tip that you could give, what would it be?
I think I would say be specific. So most of the time when we message people on LinkedIn or send them an email, you're just introducing yourself and saying like, and oftentimes your intention is to connect, but it helps if you can be specific in what you want from them. If you want an informational interview, be direct and say, hey, like, can we set up a time to chat? I would really love to hear about so and so particular thing. The more specific you are in what you're looking for, the easier it is for the person in front of you to help you because they have like limited time and energy, and for them to have, like take out that time for you, you really need to be clear about what you're looking for. Are you looking for a referral? Are you looking to hear more about the company they work at? Do you want to get on a phone call with them? Like just be direct, I would say.
Thank you so much, Preet. Is there anything else you want to add, maybe that I've not covered in this?
I would just say hang in there. Like it's hard being an international student, and the entire process of looking for an internship or looking for a job is a long one. It's not one that lasts a couple of weeks. It often stretches the entire year. And the biggest, I guess, barrier is psychological. You will get a lot of rejections, and they don't say anything about the value you bring as an employee. It's just unfortunate that you don't, you weren't born in this country or you're not a citizen of this country, but and that brings significant barriers. It really doesn't say anything about how valuable you would be or how intelligent you are. It's just a time consuming long process.
Thank you so much. I'm going to stop recording now.